Hey guys, from wherever you are in the world, welcome to our podcast, The Bar Chat. I've got my guys here with me, Tumelo and Aluani.
How's it, guys?
How's it going?
So today we're going to be analyzing the 16th game of the T20 World Cup, the game between Pakistan and India. It's obviously a huge game. They're going to be playing at the Dubai International Stadium. It's always a big event when India and Pakistan play. They don't play often, but when they do play, it's huge. So we're just going to go through the analysis, talk about who we think are going to be important players, who we think is going to win the game, and yeah, just run through the team selections, who they've selected for the World Cup, and yeah, we'll just take it from there. Dumza, I'm looking here at the rankings, for instance. Let's start at the beginning. It's number 2 versus number 3. Do you think the rankings have any significant thing to tell us about who's going to win?
No, I think big tournaments, the rankings, you throw them out of the window. If we just looked at every other big tournament, New Zealand always come into the World Cups as ranked number 1 in rugby. Belgium went into the World Cup previously ranked number 1, and look how far they got them. I'm not saying rankings are not important, but it's a tournament cricket because it lasts for such a short time. It's who can do it when it counts most. I think these two guys are certainly in the mix for the big prize.
Aluani?
Hey, I'm glad that Tumelo touched on New Zealand going into the World Cup ranked number 1. By the way, who won that World Cup?
Obviously, the Springboks.
Yeah, for me, T20 rankings don't mean a lot. I mean, teams tend to use these T20 matches for getting new guys into the team. We've seen it with South Africa, even in India. The last series they played against Sri Lanka, they played guys who have not played international cricket just to get them started. And I don't think they mean a lot. Even South Africa, I mean, I remember a couple of years back, they will rest all the top guys and give the new guys a chance. So the rankings in T20, they don't mean a lot. You just need to make sure that you are in the top 8 so that you don't have to play the qualifiers.
All right, so as things stand right now, we've got England at number 1, India number 2, Pakistan number 3, I think it is New Zealand, South Africa, Bangladesh, Australia, Afghanistan. We said the rankings at any given time, they don't really matter. It's really few and far points in between the teams, and they can change. It's not going to be a significant determiner for who goes furthest in the tournament. But these particular 2 teams we're talking about, they have a lot of experience playing in the UAE and in the Middle East, obviously. We know Pakistan haven't been playing a lot of their games at home because of political situations. So they've been there for the longest. We know India just came out of the IPL. So probably these are the 2 teams that have the most advantage in any case to win this tournament.
Yeah. So I'm rooting for Pakistan as well, because of the turmoil that's been happening and the game not being in Pakistan for up and coming youngsters to see the heroes play. I think something like this is a huge boost to the country if they were to win a tournament like this. Pakistan has really provided us with some of the best quality players. I mean, your Mohamed Yusuf, your Boom Boom Afridi, Shoaib Akhtar, and the list goes on and on. And even the new crop of players, we have Baba is very exciting. I think, in my view, top 3, if not top 4, best batsmen in the world currently. And some of the bowlers are very exciting, although they chop and change them a bit. They have really, really exciting bowlers as well. and very young bowlers. So the game in Pakistan still looks strong, and long may it continue. And I think a win in the World Cup like this will give them certainly a massive boost. Yeah, and I know I'm not answering your question directly. They're the best. I just went off on my own tangent. But they're the best prepared for the condition. But we can equally say that about most teams, because I mean, over the past month and a half, 2 months or so, there's been the IPL. So most of the players that are going to feature in this tournament have played in IPL conditions. So I think that slight advantage that could have been there go straight out the window, because all your mega superstars have been playing IPL cricket.
Yeah, I mean, the conditions, India, the IPL was played there in the last 2 weeks or in the last month. And I don't think there's any team that stands a better chance of winning this tournament than India. The IPL there, I mean, the conditions are not that different from India. They're ranked number 2. They have a pool of over 50 players playing the IPL, facing the best players around the world. I just can't see how anyone can be at a better position than India. The one slight concern I have against India is that they've only played about 8 matches this season, and the second series was against Sri Lanka, which I don't think that counts a lot, because they were just trying new players, like I said previously. And they played England 5 matches, and that was the beginning of the year. So together as a team, the team that will play in this tournament, they've played 5 matches in the whole of this year. So I don't know how the team will gel together. If they will have partnerships going into this. I mean, in IPL, these players are playing for different teams. It's different dynamics. It's that's why you never the team that wins the IPL doesn't have a lot of Indian players, a lot of Indian international players, and the captain himself is playing for a team that has not been doing well in the last 4 years. And there were questions.
I don't think RCB has ever won the IPL.
Yeah.
So
only
has never tasted that. Yeah.
I mean, I think he's even stepping down as captain from RCB, isn't it? This was his last season as captain, Virat Kohli.
Yeah, there have been questions why about his captaincy at RCB, but so I don't know if that carries on to the national team. Is he going to use the same style of captaincy at the national team level, which has not been successful at RCB? So there are a lot of questions there, but other than that, they are the best placed team to win this competition. They have the players, they are familiar with the conditions.
Let's drill down into both teams. The players selected by India, the players selected by Pakistan. So, for instance, just one of the interesting facts, both these teams are highly experienced teams going into this tournament. Pakistan average age of the players is like 28. India is 29. The combined caps of the guys in Pakistan is like 627. India is 578. So highly experienced teams. They're gonna hit the ground running, and Pakistan knows how to win tournaments. They could be doing badly in international cricket, like in ICC with 2017. They could be doing badly outside of ICC competition, but once they get into ICC competitions, they know how to win competitions. India also knows how to win competitions.
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, Pakistan has shown us in the past World Cup, whether it's ICC Champions Trophy, the World Cup, the ODI World Cup, the T20, they performed very well, even though they're not doing well in the other formats, the T20, the test matches. Generally, they'll go into a tournament in a poor form, and still go all the way. So they're built for this kind of conditions. And I think this time around, they have the right top order to actually challenge for this this trophy. Looking at their top order, like Tumele said, Baba Azam is probably in the top 4 best batsmen currently in all formats, and he's opening batting with Mohammad Rizwan. Mohammad Rizwan is highly rated batsman. Particularly this season, has done well. The average is 48, which is the second highest average this of all time, second to Kohli, and third is Baba Azam.
Yeah.
And they've had like very good partnerships. There was one in particular against South Africa where they scored over 100, and it was quick fire within the first 10 overs. And this is a dangerous combination that can, I mean, in T20, if you get a good start, you are most likely going to win the game.
It can quickly take the game.
But yeah, that's actually one of my concerns with Pakistan, that they're so top heavy. That on someone's day they can knock off the top 2 or 2 or 3 wickets within the first 6 overs, and I just do not see them getting up from that. I think the top order is so important that they don't bet as deep. Well, they have batsmen deep down, but they're deep in the lineup. But I just don't think they're of a quality or similar quality as other international teams. That they have, batsmen that can take the game away from you in the last 5 or 6 overs. So that's my number one concern about Pakistan. I think if one of the top 3 fires, then they should get decent scores. But it's not always going to be like that. And in the games that they do not have the big boys showing up, I worry about them a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree with Tumelo. They've had like terrible tournaments where they underperform, they choke. I don't want to use the C word, but they've had
that's reserved for South Africa.
Don't touch
they've
that
had
word.
terrible tournaments where they were expected to do well, but they don't do well. It's similar with West Indies. It's either it happens for them or it doesn't. They could have an amazing tournament, win the tournament, but on a different day they can get bowled for 80 and you'll be shocked. And with Pakistan, I also had a look at the bowling attack. Other than Shaim Afridi, all of their bowlers are outside the top 30, which is I don't think it's not good going to a tournament and you only have one bowler in the top 30 in the rankings. You will need a lot of support from Hassan Ali and other bowlers. And you would have seen yesterday when they played South Africa in the warm-ups, Hassan Ali failed to defend 20 runs in one over, in the last over. Those are the kind of problems that Pakistan can possibly run into, because you need at least 2 death bowlers to close out games.
So I don't think we're gonna have old Bish saying, "Remember his name." From any of these teams. There's no Carlos Brathwaite in these 2 teams, but they have decent players. And like you guys said before, at 29, around 29 average age, these are seasoned players, and even the new guys on the block. I mean, apart from Shaheen, I don't see a lot of youngsters being blood into the teams for this tournament, unfortunately. So I think experience is everyone is going to go with it. Although Jadeja has not played from the Indian team as much T20s as we would have thought he would have played internationally, I expect him fully to play a huge role in the Indian team as a bowler and as a finisher.
Yeah, you look at the team that they've selected for the tournament. I mean, Mohamed Wasim Jr. is like the only guy with like 4 caps. Everybody else is like over 24 caps. So I mean, you expect them to be well led on the field. So when it comes to crunch times, you don't expect them they're necessarily gonna fold under pressure or anything like that. I mean, think about the guy like Mohamed Hafiz. The guy is like 41. He's been around for 113 tests. So I think they have the ingredients to actually go all the way. You know, I don't want to touch the money and put too much on them, because on the other side, when we start discussing India now, I mean, combined age of their squad, I mean, the average is like 29 also. They've got, between the batsmen and a few all-rounders, they've got 67 50s, they've got 600s, which is probably more than anybody else in the tournament. These guys, once they get going, I mean, Virat Kohli, we've mentioned him, Rohit Sharma, the vice captain, Rahul, once these guys get going, you're not going to stop them.
Yeah, I think for
Yeah,
India, sorry for interjecting. So, but
no,
I
I
think
was just
for
gonna say, you know, as much as we praise the Pakistani, because that's gonna be their strong point. As much as we praise their batsmen, you know, you're talking about Rohit, someone who's spanked 200 in a ODI. So he when he gets going, he goes. Very explosive player. KL Rahul will be that guy that they bet around. He's not particularly slow in the way he goes about doing things. He's more measured, more classy in the way. He's not as brutal as the other guys. And you look at people that are going to come bet around him. Like I said, Rohit is gonna be massive. Virat is a huge hitter of the ball as well. And then you still have people like Pant, who can hit the ball a long way. And you know that Rishabh Pant is going to go from the first ball.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, as much as we talk about the firepower in the Pakistani team, India have a lot going for them in terms of their betting ability.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. The Indian top order is massive. The middle order is superstars. The bowling, there's some questions that can be asked there. It's also the selection. I've seen India playing in India and going in with one spinner, even sometimes with two spinners. So the question for me is, do they play Ashwin in this game, in this tournament? I mean, Ashwin has not been playing T20s, but we know from previous experience in test matches and ODIs that South Africa, England, New Zealand, Australia, they fear this man. They don't want to face him, whether it's T20 or not. They don't want to face this guy. They'll probably play within their shell and not score runs against him.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I mean, he's got an average bowling economy rate of 6.98. I mean, in a T20 match, a guy like that can really put a strangle on the other guys. And I mean, you can't keep that guy out of the team, surely.
Yeah, you would think that. Yeah, I think it's something that we might not know. That's within the team. Why Ashwin has not been picked? Because I mean, even in the previous test matches with England, he wasn't selected in the team, in the starting team. And he would have won one more game single-handedly had it been picked on one or two of those pitches. So I don't know what it is about Kohli and Ashwin that he doesn't trust him enough. Look, we can't put a finger on it, but I do believe Ashwin. If Ashwin was to be in any other country, he would have been one of the first people on the starting lineup.
So put him first.
Yes. So it's unfortunate that and no disrespect to Jadeja, he's a quality performer, but I don't think as a bowler he is Ashwin quality.
And Ashwin is not bad with a bat.
Yeah. I mean, he can chip in later on with a few runs. I think he averages about 30, 31. So I mean, and at a strike rate of well over 100, I think 110.
Yeah, he has a test ton. I mean, if someone has a ton in test cricket, he's a pretty decent performer. He can hold the bat. So I think if, like I say, any other team, he's probably the first name chopped on. But then that might be also another indicator of how strong India are. if we're debating if Ashwin will be starting the team or not. But we know that everywhere else he would have been a definite starter. It shows the sort of depth and quality India has.
One match that interested me, the warm-up between India and Australia. Obviously, it wasn't much of a challenge at the end of the day. India ended up winning that one by 8 wickets. Do you read much into those results going into this game? It was a warm-up game after all.
There's some positives you can take out of a warm-up match, but I mean, I think you're allowed to bowl as many bowlers as you want, and there's no limitation on that. So it's not really an official match.
So the intensity is not there.
The intensity is not there. Yeah.
Yeah, you get players getting 50 and retiring. So I mean, it doesn't simulate match conditions, and but you can take positives. You can take positives. Like yesterday, South Africa Van Dusen scored 100. I mean, it does not matter if it's a practice match. 100 is the 100 in a T20 match. So there's some positive I think India can take out of it. But I don't. If I was Australian, I wouldn't be too worried based on the match results.
So I think one of the other positives that I thought about this game, or one of the big things which is exciting about this upcoming game, obviously they're going to be playing in Dubai because of all the vaccination rollout that they've had in Dubai. They're allowing 75% crowds in there. I almost feel like for Pakistan and India during this whole tournament, it's going to feel like home games for both of them because most of those crowds are going to be in their favors in any case.
Yeah. I think maybe I'm not sure. Yeah, I need clarity. Is the Indian team or the IPL team, were they in a bubble?
I don't think it was hard bubbles. I think they term it soft bubbles now because especially depending on the progress of the country that you're playing and how vaccinated the population is. And if I remember correctly, I think Dubai had like so much vaccination already having been done.
No, yeah, I was thinking that could be a factor against India. They've been there for 2 months now, 2.5 months, and if that is to be extended for another month or month and a half, you are in a bubble for almost half a year. So, but if it's a soft bubble, then it shouldn't matter a lot. You're still with your family can visit you.
Guys,
yeah. So playing.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so playing in Dubai. I think it favors both teams. India, like we said, they've been playing there. Pakistan, this has been their home ground for the last 10 years. So they're used to the condition. They have the support. And India, they will have some support. But I'm not sure for this game if there are limitations in terms of stadium crowds. Brad, do you guys know?
They're allowed 75%.
So you can only have so much.
I want to get to the key question here. What do you guys think is going to happen this weekend? How much do you think, or who do you think is going to win and by how much?
Look, man, for me personally, let me go ahead. I think India is going to win it. Let me just say, I don't think it's going to be significantly tell us about who's going to win the tournament. But I think India, especially looking at the other teams in their groups, they don't necessarily have to beat each other. But I think India just has too much firepower. I don't see Pakistan being able to roll them. But I don't think it's going to be an easy game necessarily. I mean, Virat Kohli hasn't been necessarily, on top form or anything. Rohit Sharma always is going to deliver. But I think it's going to be close. If I had to put my head on the block, I really don't think it's going to be huge margin in this game. But I don't think it's also going to be high scoring game. I think we're looking probably at around 160 to 170. And if you can get to 170, it's going to be tough to chase it down. So if Pakistan bat first, because their bowlers can sometimes just turn it on. If they bat first, put 170 on the board. I know they didn't defend 180 against South Africa, but again, we did say the match intensity is different, and perhaps sometimes you're still trying out combinations. But I think if they would put 170 on the board, they would be able to put pressure on India a little bit, especially if their bowlers come into the game. But I'd still give it to India.
Alus?
Yeah, I also agree with Brian. I think India is going to win this one, but there is a chance that Pakistan could surprise everyone. The only way I see Pakistan winning this match is bowling first. It's bowling first and restricting India to about 160, 170. Bowling second is tough. It's very tough. I saw it also yesterday. And you also have the dew factor, with the ball just becomes so slippery that you don't have the grip as a bowler. And in the Pakistan, having such a good top order and experienced people like Shoaib Malik and Hafiz, I think they can possibly bring it home. But India, they're the favorite, and things has to line up for Pakistan to win this match. Other than that, I don't see Pakistan
100%.
even
I think
close.
It's 3-0 here. My prediction is the same. Mine is just a bit slightly different. I think the winning margin is going to be slightly wider than what you guys are anticipating. I don't see it as being a close contest. Highly charged emotionally team. I think India goes and wins this quite easily. If they bet first, they will win it by a margin of more than 25 runs. Let's say 20 runs to be more fair to Pakistan. And if not, then they win the game. If they bet second, they win the game by 5 wickets or more. I just see India smashing and getting off to a great start in this one.
Hey, that's it, guys. I think that was a great analysis. Guys, remember to subscribe to our channel out there. Hit a like, share with your friends. Tell us what you think of our analysis. Tell us what you think of our predictions. If you're a Pakistan fan out there and you think we're talking nonsense, you guys are taking this, let us know in the comment section. Look, if Pakistan win this, by the way, it's going to be like their first time they beat India in a T20. So it's going to be significant. It might be the moral boost that they need to go forward in the tournament. Until next time.
Yes, guys.
Yes.